Hello, I'm your host, Effie Pilarino, and today I'm with a very special guest, a social entrepreneur. He is the CEO and founder of Adonic. I'd like to welcome Severiyos Aydin. Welcome, Severio.
Hi, Effie. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I mean, you work in an area that is typically connected with disasters, natural disasters, humanitarian disasters, war, and so on. And so this is really an area that touches everybody's heart, especially right now with what's going on in Turkey. Tell us about Adonic, which is really a venture focused on humanitarian innovation, but goes beyond just payment infrastructure or using blockchain to trace the flows. I know that you're much broader. So tell us, first of all, why and how you came about creating Adonic.
So I was founding my own NGO 10 years ago. When the Syrian war started, we started to respond with a small initiative that led me then to next programs. Although I came from the corporate sector, I was working for 12 years in the commodity and petrochemical trading business, responsible for shipment and physical trading. But then when we started this initiative, we realized that there have been many gaps and challenges. So also lack of humanitarian assistance when the war started, which led to a huge humanitarian crisis in and around Syria. So we founded an NGO, we started to respond with various programs, and then we started to focus on crisis response. Humanitarian aid, such as food distribution, medical aid, shelter support, various other psychosocial programs, educational and midterm and long-term programs to relieve the people, help the war-affected families to overcome these difficult times. And since then, we basically established a very wide network in the Middle East, but also in parts of Africa, where we until today realized and established more than 400 humanitarian and sustainable development programs and impacted more than 400,000 lives so far. I discovered during that time that the sector, the nonprofit space, or more concretely, the humanitarian aid sector, is lacking digital innovation, digital transformative solutions, which can make our work in the field, but also in the whole processing of humanitarian aid, funds, and assistance more efficient and more transparent. Transparency has been the largest challenge in the sector, which led to mistrust and reputational damage from donors towards the sector. So we started to explore how we can fix that system, how we can improve and empower humanitarian actors with digital innovation. We came across blockchain technology, where we started to conceptualize and pilot a solution in 2019 in Syria by tokenizing humanitarian aid and allow donors to track and trace the aid from their hometowns abroad directly up to the final recipients to see how, where, and for what aid and donations are being used. We further explored more digital innovative solutions and started to build a whole payments infrastructure and data management platform, which can be used by humanitarian organizations to process, manage, and program all the data around the humanitarian aid project during emergencies, during disasters, but also during sustainable long-term projects.
Severio, so that means that Adonic not only has developed infrastructure that you use to move funds, and tell us also if you're moving in kind, but you are offering this infrastructure to others. So there's a B2B, if you want, offering.
Exactly. So we are offering our cloud-based platform to any humanitarian organizations to use it fully remotely also. I mean, we equipped it with various features such as beneficiary data collection, automated reporting, real-time monitoring of aid flows, data management, and also partner and collaborative solutions where NGOs can equip the platform, onboard their partners, vendors, humanitarian actors to manage everything fully remotely digital. This basically replaced the Excel spreadsheets where most of the organizations today are relying on. Excel has been prone to errors. It is shared with major third-party providers. Sensitive data is exposed to people that should not have access to this data. So we provide them the GDPR compliant platform to really overcome all these challenges.
So this part is not really blockchain. You're talking about enabling other NGOs or agencies involved in humanitarian activities to move, first of all, to the cloud, and second, with secure databases and tools. Where does blockchain really come in, and how do you differ? I mean, I've heard of other initiatives in the space trying to use blockchain.
Indeed. So because our background is fully humanitarian, we come from the field, and we could see where blockchain can really add value and where it would not add value. That was basically our guidance in implementing the blockchain part, not in all processes that we developed in our tech stack, but in those processes where it really adds value. And that's where the transparency part is coming to. So what we do is we built two blockchain models. One was powered by the Stellar blockchain, and the other one was based on the Near blockchain protocol. We are tokenizing the funds that are contributed from donors, and then basically storing the transactions that are being done between the donors, the NGOs, and the final recipients. Those transactions are stored on the blockchain, which can be then tracked and traced by any stakeholder, by the donors, like a parcel, a post bag on or DHL. You can click on a link and you can see where the funds are for what and where it's being used. So in those transactions, individual transactions, we can use the blockchain part and integrate it to any of our clients' infrastructures. And wherever we don't use the blockchain, which is, for example, the data management, the reporting part, the data collection, the smart forms that can be sent to the final recipients to collect data, there we don't use blockchain because it's not adding any value.
Understand. I mean, can you give us an idea right now with the big humanitarian crisis and the spotlight on Turkey? What exactly, how are you working, or give us also some sense of how Adonic is moving not only funds, but in-kind donations?
So with our platform, we can basically, again, we provide the technology to manage disaster response. Disaster response requires coordination. It requires fast and efficient deployment of aid and assistance, and then also the monitoring. Monitoring is very important, especially when it comes to disasters where you have multitude of organizations operating in one place. It always leads to duplication. Families would receive 2, 3 food parcels while others would not receive. We immediately after the earthquake established a conference, a webinar, and invited the largest international organizations, and then discussed and provided some sort of coordination and exchange of information on which are the best practices to use to respond to the crisis, especially around cash and voucher assistance. Aidonic very important component is that allows NGOs to deliver cash and vouchers. This is during disaster response or during the recovery response, very important tool to help the people on the midterm needs. So Adonic was immediately calling out to all the NGOs and provided this platform and infrastructure. Right now, we are building a pipeline in Syria where we can deploy very fast digital vouchers, QR codes that can be distributed among the earthquake affected communities. And then they can approach mobile units, distribution points of food, healthcare, medicines, clothes, blankets, water. All these items are available at various distribution points, and people can simply go with their QR codes and redeem them for all the necessary supplies that they require. So this infrastructure is in place. We are just now about to deploy that. We are helping with coordination. We are helping with the data management. And also on the Turkey side, we are currently talking to local financial service provider to integrate them into our platform for immediate cash assistance to the earthquake victims.
I mean, this is extremely important to the point that you just mentioned, how financial institutions or payment institutions can be intermediaries to process this, even though they are not, they don't have the technology. You're really enabling them to act as intermediaries, as they're local, as they have the capabilities, and you provide them the technology there, right?
Exactly. So we have an open API. We can connect any financial service provider, mobile money operators that are legally licensed to operate in those local areas. And the platform basically bridges the gap between the NGOs that need very complex systems to monitor, manage all the data and the payments, between the financial service provider, which are the last mile cash out dispersers of cash. They can withdraw, they can send money directly to accounts, to prepaid cards. We can facilitate cash outs at agents such as Western Union or local post offices. So we are basically covering and exploring all the most beneficial modalities to respond as fast as possible.
I mean, it seems to me that really you are the enabler of huge network effects in this type of disaster that, as you said before, requires huge coordination, not only to not have duplication, but to directing where there's more need, and just to help everybody that's involved in this situation.
Exactly. This was core of our goal, because speed is essential. It counts. Every minute counts to save lives. The faster people can reach assistance, the better, and that's our core goal.
Severio, I mean, you talking about social entrepreneurship or a business that has purpose. I mean, Adonic is a perfect example. Can you share with us a story that over the past 4 or 5 years that you've been at least live, that has really moved you and, you know, made all the challenges of this business worthwhile?
Yeah, I mean, what is really worth to mention is the challenge for social enterprises to establish, scale, and raise the capital needed to build those businesses. Today, unfortunately, most of the investors, VCs, private equity companies focusing on the capital markets, those businesses, those verticals that are very capitalistic, but not social. We made the unfortunate reality that almost a very minor amount of investors focus on our verticals. And that is very unfortunate, because exactly now, with this example of the earthquake, so much had been made better. People lives could have been saved if more innovation, more investment, and more technologies, and also engineering solutions could have been developed and used in this crisis. We're talking about seismic sensor related solutions, thermographic cameras that can find people on the rubbles, forecasts, AI that today is used for various other purposes could have been used, maybe powered by data and prediction solutions that could have maybe raised awareness prior to such events. I mean, I'm not the expert, but I'm pretty sure if we can build robotics, if we can fly out to discover the universe, first, let's focus on the problems we have here on Earth, on the planet, and help to solve our humanitarian issues and problems before really focusing only on those other areas, which does not really help in this kind of events that we experienced last week.
Yes, and as you said, we've been talking globally about stakeholder capitalism, and the social aspect and the humanitarian aspect is really under discussed and under considered, and we remain in this profit-oriented, focused society. And even in the humanitarian aid right now, my personal experience with the earthquake is that people have such a distrust that they want to help. I'm talking about individuals, but since they still don't, the technology isn't there. So if I donate 100 Swiss francs, 1,000 euros, whatever it is, the amount, 10 euros, I really don't know where it has gone. And how does Adonic empower and inspire individuals, or are you more focused on the challenges, the major challenges that the organizations, the NGOs have in their work?
Yeah, we are focusing on both areas. So the reason is the end-to-end transparency and traceability of funds, of donations is a huge problem and challenge that need to be solved. And that is currently what Aidonic is solving. We provide this end-to-end infrastructure and traceability solution powered by blockchain to any organization and NGO. We are right now about to pilot and explore a proof of concept with a major Swiss bank, one of the largest retail banks, to integrate our end-to-end tracking solution into their banking platform and application to allow banking clients, but also other clients to donate, track, and trace. And we want to scale that. As you mentioned, as an early stage social enterprise, we are dealing with many challenges to build and scale the company, to raise capital, to hire people, to find the right strategies for business development. We are working on all ends, and with pretty soon, we hope, with also our current investors, partners, and upcoming supporters, we're going to scale in the various directions to allow basically not only banking clients, but also major other donors to use a secure end-to-end platform to help people in need.
So much like we talk about, sustainability and how I would like to see my carbon footprint in my consumer spending on my credit card and so on. You're looking to integrate the transparency of donating within, for example, a banking app that is something that we all use, or within a digital wallet, if you want. So we really feel like in person, if we help somebody with a meal, that we could do that digitally and globally by having this type of technology integrated in our banking solutions.
Exactly. We provide a white labeled backend system and infrastructure that can facilitate this end-to-end traceability. It can be integrated to any corporate platform because corporates already have a huge user base. And for them, it's very feasible to integrate that and allow them to do good. And also it improves their ESG and CSR strategies. Of course, the operating system, the backend system, can also be used by very large international organizations, of course, but also to existing crowdfunding platforms that only raise the funds and send them to the NGOs, but do not track what happens after. So with our system, they can plug it into and integrate it and then trace the last mile aid delivery for better efficiency also in the same time.
Great. Can you give us some figures around the current situation in Turkey of what's been processed and what's been handled to give us an idea of the magnitude of maybe the donations or the number of organizations that are involved and so on?
Well, I mean, the magnitude, the impact on the people's lives that this earthquake occurred is massive, and we hear it from the news. I mean, this area where the earthquake happened, inhabitants approximately 2 million people. These are all affected in some sort. Some lost completely their houses. Some of them, their houses are partly damaged, and some of them are just afraid to return back to their homes. So we are talking about a huge displaced number of people that need shelter, that need food, healthcare, medicines, warmth, clean water. Then on the NGO side, on the humanitarian side, we hear, I mean, there's like hundreds of millions in aid, also in kind, but also in financial aid distributed, delivered into these areas. Of course, the last mile handover of assistance is always a challenge. I mean, especially during crises where people dealing with multiple factors. Also, cholera is going to be a massive issue. We hope not, but we learned from the Haiti earthquake that a couple of months after the earthquake, a massive cholera outbreak happened, and the same is predicted for this region, and it requires clean water, international assistance and coordination to really limit these potential further disasters.
Severio, if those that are listening to us want to get involved, what is the best way to take advantage of Adonix capabilities? You have a list of NGOs that you're working with. What is the best way for our listeners?
Currently, our in-house NGO, Make Relief International, is deployed since the first hours after the earthquake. We are working in Syria, in the northern part, since 10 years, and we are already deploying humanitarian assistance with our field teams and partners, also monitored and managed by the Adonic platform. We are currently establishing more pipelines and onboarding more NGOs that would use the channels through the Aidonic technology to deliver aid. Again, at the moment, everyone is busy with emergency responses. That means delivering, carrying in-kind aid such as food, clean water, and blankets to those affected areas. But pretty soon, and we should not forget, the euphoria of the donors in the very beginning is always very high, but then it drops pretty fast. But it is then where the people need help as same as they are needing it right now. So the needs will remain, and we're gonna deal with humanitarian needs for a very long period. So I want to emphasize to the people that want to help to stay and close and follow our activities. We are regularly informing everyone through our LinkedIn channels and other social media channels on how best they can support. Again, pretty soon we're going to move into the midterm recovery phase where people need constant supply of cash and voucher assistance to buy and cover their urgent needs. And then we will move into a long-term development needs such as psychosocial support, post-trauma healing, and reconstruction. So we are keep informing the people. You can also reach out. Everyone can reach out to us. We are happy to assist and advise everyone on how best they can support the people in need.
Thank you very much, Severio. Thank you for being with us and finding the time to discuss this and highlight this. And I will share with our audience all the relevant links. And we thank you for what you're doing as a social entrepreneur. The impact is huge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Effie.